Has your web developer just asked for login credentials to your WordPress website? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create and share and delete a set of temporary login credentials exactly for that purpose. But look first, hi, I'm Keelan O'Connor from Regional Business Toolkit, and I help business owners in regional parts of Victoria leverage digital tools and their websites so they can scale their business and so they can save precious time that they can invest back into their family, friends and their community. In this video, I want to talk about one, when people will be asking for login credentials to your website. Two, the best way that you can create new credentials just for that purpose. And three, how you can go and delete those credentials so that that person can't get into your website anymore. But look, let me frame this. As a WordPress developer, I need access to the WordPress dashboard of every site that I work with. Sometimes it's getting in there so I can upload and change content and images on the website. Sometimes it's trying to fix a bug on someone's website. Sometimes it is installing new software, and sometimes it's just trying to repair a backup or something else like that that someone needs so they can move forward. And look, I'm not the only person who would need access to a website like yours. If you're working with a search engine specialist or an SEO specialist, if you're working with someone who is installing some new marketing automation software or connecting your website to your CRM tool or your invoicing tool or something like that, they'd also need access. Or if you're working with someone who is doing some advanced analytics reporting for your website so you can see and track and measure how people are using your website to an even deeper level, all those kind of people also would need access to your website. And quite often they'll write to you and say, hey, can I have an admin login for your website? Now look, when I do that, many clients turn around and just give me the login credentials that they use themselves to log into their website, so their own username and their own password. And while it's great that they trust me enough to hand over those credentials, it's not the best way forward. Sometimes I picture it like this. If you had a plumber or an electrician or someone coming in to put in new carpet on your house, for example, or something else like that, you wouldn't want to give them the only set of keys to your website. In fact, it would be great if you could give them a spare set of keys that would absolutely vanish when they've finished doing their job. And we can do that exactly within WordPress. So let's have a look at the dashboard and I'll show you how you can do that just here. Site will probably have more content in here. What we're going to do to create a new user is come down here to users and click on add new. Now lots of people, many of you have probably already seen this before, but I just want to step through a couple of the important elements in here. You can create as many new users as you like, and in this case we would create an admin user for someone like myself or someone, as I said, doing SEO or marketing technology or something else like that. In the username box, it's great if you can give that person or give this role a username that you're going to remember down the track. So I might just call it web dev in this case. You're also going to need to put in the email address that this person uses. Now, if you're working with a bigger organization, they might have a info@company.com.au or an admin@company.com.au address. If possible, it's great if you can actually use that person's own email address. So peter@company.com.au or whatever email address they've been using to contact you with. In this case, I'm just going to call it test@. Give them the first name. Sometimes I like to use a company name here, but you can give that person that first name if you like as well. You can leave the last name field blank, and you can leave the website blank unless you'd like to put them in, which is absolutely cool. I want you to leave the password section here alone. What WordPress does is WordPress goes and creates a fairly strong and very unique password for every new user that's being created. It'll be something stupid like U13XYZH, a random string of letters and numbers, which is probably more secure than we put in there if we typed red balloon 24 or something. So leave the password blank and let WordPress generate a nice strong secure password for you. We're going to leave this box here ticked, which is send the new user an email about their account. So when we go set this up, after we've gone and hit add new user, WordPress will go and send an email directly to that person that says, hey, company, in this case, we'll use their first name. Someone has created a new user login for you. Click here to grab your password, and they'll be able to access their unique password that way. And we're going to change this role, and this is the important bit, from a subscriber up to an administrator. Now, each of these different roles in here, and there's lots of information if you Google online, but each of these different roles gives people different levels of access, obviously, inside your website. So someone who is wanting an admin login, such as a web developer, an SEO specialist, a marketing technician, other people like that, are generally after an administrator login so they can change and configure some of the ways your website works in the background. After you've done that, just click Add New User, and it's as simple as that. That person automatically goes and gets a login. You can follow up with a phone call or an email or something like that, and just make sure they've got that and make sure they can log in. And they can go through and do as much work as you want them to. When they're finished, and this is the important bit here, if you had given someone your own login, you need to go through and either change your login details after they've gone and finished that body of work, or you need to go and do something else to go and make sure that they are no longer able to use that. Now look, in all honesty, most people are really trustworthy, and most people wouldn't dive back in your website and do any sort of malicious tampering at the end of the day after a project has been finished. But just in case, best practice to be able to lock that person out. You can do one of two things here. So here's the web dev role that I just created. Again, it's just under users and all users. You can do one of two things. If you're going to use this person again in the future, I would suggest that you went and changed the role from administrator back to a subscriber, and then hit update user. That now means that that role or that user still exists inside of WordPress. So that person can still use that same username and same login, but they're just not going to be able to do anything while they're in there. Subscriber is the lowest level of your admin rights. If you are no longer, and when it comes time, say if you think you're going to be, say if they're going to need access to your website again in 3 months' time, you can always come back without needing to create something new and just go and bring that back up to administrator role as someone needs to come in and out of your website on a periodic basis. If you want to get rid of that completely, it's actually really simple. We've selected the user. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go back to all users here. And we can just come over here and just hit delete and confirm deletion. And it's as simple as that. Now, if that was some web technician or a developer or a marketing technician or someone else like that, once they've been deleted, they can no longer get in. So this is like that example I used at the start. If you have a plumber or an electrician or a carpet layer or someone else like that, it would be great if that spare set of keys would just vanish at the end of the project. And that's exactly how you can do that here. So just to recap, if someone is asking you for an admin login to your website, the best thing that you should be doing is creating a new login for them. A completely fresh set of credentials that you can monitor, and you can either demote to a lower level of access, or you can delete completely when the job is done without having to give away your individual admin login for your website. So hope that really helps, and as you can see, it's really easy. It'll only take you 30 or so seconds to create a new user and or delete one after the project. And if you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to let me know. We'll chat soon. Cheerio.